from the age of 10 to 12 and a half, I really didn't have a childhood. We were actually in the jail, bunk beds, what time you eat breakfast, what time you eat lunch. I lived in Iran. My dad used to be in the army. When the government changed, I didn't get to see my dad for a while. We had to leave the country. We paid a lot of money to get fake passports, came to Australia legally. I did 2.5 years in detention. I remember they used to tell us, we're going to send you back. If they sent us back, we would have been killed in Iran, because we left illegally. I used to remember seeing my mum cry all the time, As a kid, my fight was for freedom.
This guy is Sam Bashiry. Sam is a refugee turned entrepreneur who at one point only had $1,000 to his name with one big dream. Fast forward to today, Sam has founded one of the largest internet service providers in all of Australia, Broadband Solutions. Over the years, Sam has caught a ton of attention from his rags to riches story, coupled with his flashy lifestyle, which I got experience up close. But Sam is a lot more than his business or his cars. He's also a motivational speaker and philanthropist, dedicated to his mission to inspire others to turn any adversity into opportunity similar to he did. So for Sam, this journey was a lot deeper than what people see on the surface. And that's what I found interesting about him. He wasn't like every other successful CEO or Ferrari owner. There was another side of Sam that I was determined to uncover, which is why I joined him at his office in Melbourne for coffee. All right, so I'm on a mission to have a coffee with 100 strangers from around the world, and today we're with stranger number 24, I believe. Who are we here with today?
I'm Sam Bashiry. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for inviting me to your office today in Melbourne.
You're welcome.
So Sam, we want to know, where do we start? Tell us a little bit about yourself, a little backstory maybe.
Cool. So I originally was born in Iran. I came to Australia when I was 10 years old. I'm 47 now, so getting old. I've been here for a long time. I started an internet company back in 2005 with $1,000. I've been in business for over 20 years now. And yeah, it's been an awesome journey, still doing what I love and what I'm passionate about amongst other businesses, but yeah.
Wow, okay. And now here you are today with living this life that a lot of people would, want to live themselves, including myself. And I want to know, as a fellow entrepreneur myself, what do we need to know about the business and everything like that to understand, to make sense of where we are today?
Sure. Look, for me, I think it's number one, it's very important to really find something that you're interested in, at least. You have interest and then you have passion. You got to love what you do. If you don't like what you do, how can you do something for 10, 20 years? You go absolutely crazy doing something that you hate. It's like rocking up to a job that you don't like every day. You'll be depressed very quickly, right? So find something that you love doing. And I think the goal is to become the best at it. So for us, we're not a big company, so to compete with the big companies like Telstra in Australia, which is like one of the biggest telecommunications company, there's no way we could compete with someone with $1 billion turnover and hundreds of $1 million marketing. So for us, it was about finding a vertical and becoming the best in that vertical. And for us, that was hospitality. So we look after 95% of all the hotels when it comes to their technology in Australia. And that's what we found. We carved that niche and became the best at that.
Interesting. And it's a very interesting story to how you even discovered that niche in the first place, right? Maybe you want to share that story?
Yeah, look, I don't know. I'm not a massive believer of luck, but I'm a massive believer of opportunity. That's what you do with it. So I started a business back in 2005 with $1,000. Originally, there's a lot of struggles, There's a lot of moments that I thought, why am I doing this? I could go get a job. I'm putting in 15, 18, 20 hours a day, hardly getting any sleep, advertising on bulletin boards because you had no money, marketing money, so we used to put bulletin board ads up, creating a website, typing up invoices on Word documents, doing basically everything, And I'm like, how long can I continue to do this? And then one day I was playing golf with a friend of mine, or trying to play golf anyway, with a friend of mine, and I got a phone call from a hotel. They needed fast internet for a conference, and I stopped playing, went back to the office, put a wireless dish on the roof, and they absolutely loved it. A month later, I got a phone call from another business saying, listen, we heard what you did. We'd love to have the same solution. So I provided the same solution. And at the end of the conference, I said, why don't you just keep it? This is a satellite dish on the roof. We can turn it on and off as you please. And he said, no, we deal with a very big company that do our movie systems, everything. They bundle it all into one. They're a big company called NTT, which is quite big in Japan. It's the biggest telecommunications company in Japan. Used to be anyway. I said, well, who do you deal with there? He gave me a name. So I reached out to the guy, gave him a call, and he invited me to go to the office in Sydney. When I met him, got along, and they said, look, when time comes to, when the tender document comes out, you can be part of the tender. I said, no problem, So I waited around for a month or so, received the tender document. I was in my late 20s, never done a 10-day in my life. I've got to document this week. Fuck, what do I do with this? Where do I even start? I've recently found out that I've got ADHD as well, so that didn't help. The fact that, I have to concentrate and do that kind of makes sense. Anyways, I reached out to one of my old bosses. He said, listen, I can help you. It's going to cost you $1,000 a day. So it was around 15 days, 15 grand it cost me for him to help me put the tender together. Submitted a tender document. And back then, with maybe making $5,000-6,000 a month, fucking nothing. We won this tender, it was probably over $1 million a month. It's absolutely life-changing for us at that age, Got a phone call saying, hey, listen, you'll be successful with the tender. The last part of the tender process is that I'm going to get my CTO, Chief Technical Officer in Melbourne, to come and check out your operation. My operation was half the size of this office with 2 desks, right? Quite embarrassing, couldn't have him come and see that, right? So I reached out to all the real estate agents that I knew and asked them for a big office so I could put my friends in there and make it look big and busy, They all told me to go away. And so we're not going to rent an office for a day. It doesn't work like that. Anyhow, I was pretty devastated. Like, it was at that point, I thought, fuck, I'm in 15, 20 grand deep. Money that I don't have, I'll pull cash advance on credit cards. Don't know what to do. Like, in the morning I thought, I just won't answer. I just won't show up, I won't, answer the phone, or if I answer the phone, I'll just say I'm sick. I got a phone call. I did answer the phone, and then a gentleman said, listen, I'm too busy to come. Why don't you come and see me? I don't have the time to come and see you. So I went to their office. It was an interesting meeting. Every time I spoke, he cut me off. It was very, very short with me. I walked out thinking, there's no chance. I got a phone call from Nick, the guy in Sydney, and said, look, Yasik loved you guys. You're successful. Let's do business together. And that's how the whole journey in hospitality started.
Wow.
So, there's 3 phone calls, The first phone call that came through, obviously I answered the call. I could have just missed that call. Kept playing golf, didn't answer that call. Second call was when I made that call to NTT and spoke to Nick when I was in the car park. Again, I was very hesitant of getting rejected and getting hung up on, told to go away. But I thought, fuck, what's the worst thing that can happen? Time to go away, who cares? I made a call, and the third phone call was, I think there's a blessing from God, him calling me and saying he's not coming to the office.
Yeah.
So look, things can just change like that. And I'm a massive believer of, again, opportunities. I think in your life journey, maybe 2 or 3 times, if you're lucky, maybe more than that, it will present itself. So you got to be on the right mindset, the mind frame to take those opportunities and run with it and make something out of it.
I think a lot of people have a very different, I'm not going to say misconception, just different ideas of what it really is, like luck, Because a lot of people would say maybe you got lucky, at that call that happened and the internet just starting to take off.
Yeah.
But obviously, in your sense, that you had to be in that right position to even be able to receive any sort of luck to begin with.
Yeah. The bulletin boards, I advertised all those bulletin boards. That's where it came from. So all those nights that I didn't sleep and I kept doing my own website, optimizing it. I didn't have anyone to optimize it. I fucking learned how to optimize it. I learned about AdWords. I learned about everything. So all that work that I put in beforehand, all those hours of work that went in, that's what that created, that phone call. It wasn't luck. Someone didn't just come out of nowhere,
Yeah.
So all that preparation came to that, and then it's what you do with that. So you get the opportunity, what do you do with it? And even now, after over 20 years of business, if I get an opportunity now, doesn't matter what I'm doing, I'll stop and I'll fucking go for it.
If it's there.
Yeah, man.
'Cause we're all dealt certain cards, and I don't think you were dealt the most favorable cards, to begin with. And, at the end of the day, you got to play the game. And
It's just life, Sometimes God gives strong people, makes it harder for them because they can survive it, My nephew had cancer at the age of 3, and I couldn't understand, how can a 3-year-old have cancer, leukemia, What's a 3-year-old done? And like now he's 16 years old, God bless him, touch wood, he's doing so well in life. Maybe that was something that, he could handle and shaped him into the person that he is today. You got to look at the positives in things in life because it's very easy to look at negatives, right? And say, why me? Why me? Why this? Why?
pointing fingers.
Yeah, man. Just look at the positive. There's always 2 sides to everything, Look at the positive. I'm a massive, massive believer of what you put out is what you get. Put good energy, good vibes, and positivity, and good things will happen, man.
Yeah. And going back quickly to your backstory, because we briefly talked about that before, I want people to know maybe more about where you really came from and how did you get to that first point of even being in Melbourne to begin with?
Yeah, look, I lived in Iran. My dad used to be in the army. When the government changed, I didn't get to see my dad for a while. We had to leave the country. We went to Turkey. met a person that, we paid a lot of money to get fake passports, came to Australia legally. I did 2.5 years in detention. From the age of 10 to 12 and a half, I really didn't have a childhood. We were actually in the jail, bunk beds, what time you eat breakfast, what time you eat lunch. There's a lockdown, go to bed at this time. So as a kid, my fight was for freedom. I never really thought about it like that till now. My fight was to be free, and see my mum, my mum is just my mum, my sister and I, and seeing my mum at the age, I don't know, I feel she was in her 35, something like that roughly, but seeing her go through what she went to protect us, every night. I remember they used to tell us, we're going to send you back, and if they sent us back, we would have been killed in Iran, because they left illegally. So they used to tell us every night, we're going to send you back, and I used to remember seeing my mum cry all the time, And we didn't have anybody here. We had no family here. We didn't know anyone here. Absolutely no one. So, we didn't have any visitors coming and visiting us. We were just all alone, But that taught me how to become resilient and fight at a young age for freedom, And we went through that process and we came out, living in the best country in the world, right? As far as I'm concerned, A country has a lot of opportunities, And I would never have the opportunities that I've had here somewhere else. Personally, that's what I think. But it teaches you resilience, man, and it teaches you that, once again, okay, it's happening. There's nothing you can do about it. Make the best out of it, and learn from it, and use it as fuel to change your cycle. That's all.
And change your bloodline.
Yeah, man, change the cycle.
Yeah.
Just, do what you didn't have for others. Your family.
Yeah, and that's obviously transpired into your business, like the passion that you still have. A lot of people would get to a certain level, 6 figures, whatever it may be, and then they're happy, they're content, but that's probably the one of the big catalysts for why you want to keep going.
I love what I do, and I think, like I said at the start, if you don't like what you do, you shouldn't do it. For me, it's not about money as much as it used to be. Initially, it was all about money. It was about making money, changing your lifestyle. But now it's all about freedom to be able to do what you want when you want. And I think you have to earn the right to be able to do what you want when you want on your terms. You have to earn that right. And you earn that right by putting in the time, man, doing the work, breaking your back, doing the right thing. And I think it's very important to be able to distinguish between when enough is enough. Doesn't mean you stop working, doesn't mean you stop growing. But like as we spoke before, I don't want to be a billionaire. I have no interest in being a billionaire because there's a price to pay for that. I'd rather spend time with my family or see my friends, have a laugh. Have a work-life balance,
Yeah.
Than be a billionaire and then not have the things that actually mean more, not spend time with the family and friends and enjoy my life, You never know what's going to happen tomorrow, right? You only get one chance, one go. So you work hard. As long as you're not hurting anybody, you're a good person. Go ahead, enjoy life, travel, meet people, learn from other cultures, all that kind of stuff. So.
I love that. And, on the surface level, a lot of people may see the lifestyle you live with the cars. Like, how many cars do you have? What kind of...
I have a few cars. And I always loved cars, and I spoke before, they open up a lot of doors for me. I've met friends, I've made, business deals, everything through those cars because, I've traveled a lot, I've done Italy, I've done Monaco, I've done a lot of trips with Ferrari and Lamborghini and that. And I would have never done those trips if I didn't have those cars because I wouldn't have got ever invited. And through that, I've met a lot of like-minded people that are just amazing, humble people, a lot of them self-made. And I've learned a lot through that, and I've done a lot of business deals through that. But above all of that, I've made some long-term, lifetime friendships through that. So, so there's more to cars than that. And I think by the end of the day, they're just cars, All those materialistic things. And, people judge people because they have nice things. It's got nothing to do with it. If you enjoy something, you worked hard for it, why shouldn't you do it? Everyone has something else. Someone likes fishing. They want to have the best fishing rod. Mm-hmm. Someone likes to have the best golf clubs. Someone likes champagne. Someone likes art. So there's different things that you like, and you do it for yourself. But I think at the end of the day, they're just things. So what you got to really remember is that they can disappear tomorrow, right? And if your life depends on those things, it's kind of a lonely life. So there has to be more. People have heart, more emotions. So about your family and all that kind of stuff. So you should enjoy yourself, have the best, but that's all they are. They're nothing. They're just fun.
They're just things.
Yeah, they're just things.
But have you always had this mindset, though?
No, I didn't. For me, growing up, I definitely had the opposite mindset. coming from poverty and not having anything, for me, I never felt good enough. I always thought I had something to prove to the whole world. So I know for me it was all about making money, buying nice things. But I think, like, a lot of people say, "Oh, this person's smart." I said, "No, he's not smart. He's just, older. And he's made more mistakes. He's lived a life longer, And I think, for me, as you get older, your priorities change, and you realize what's important to you, right? Like I said, but in hindsight, you can say that because you've done well for yourself, and you get through that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like maybe if you didn't have that mindset, maybe you wouldn't be where you are.
Maybe, for me, I think the catalyst was to do something, and that's what pushed me and made me do what I had to do to get to where I am. But you evolve as a person, right? We all evolve. You're not going to be the same person we were 20 years ago. Otherwise, you're not growing, right? So you evolve. So for me too, my priorities changed. Got a family. Got things that money can't buy. They say, show me 5 things that money can't buy, and I'll tell you who you are. So a lot of things that money can't buy. And you can't buy love. You can't buy family. You can't buy amazing, good friends that you have around you. Those things are for free, man.
Yeah. So being in your 40s now, you already had a lot of time into your business and stuff. Like, what is the future? A lot of people maybe at this point, having what you have now, would maybe sell the business, move on, and do other things. What's the future like for you?
Look, I love what I'm doing. I'm still going to continue to do what I do until I get to that stage. But also, I'm involved in other things. I've got a medicinal cannabis company that I've started 3 years ago. So we've got online clinics. We imported our first product called Alaf, which in Persian means grass, from US. So we just got that. So I'm learning a lot. It's a whole new industry for me. I'm learning a lot. I smoked my first joint probably during COVID. I've never smoked
way.
I never smoked. I'm like, wow, this is, and for me, it's actually a passion project. First of all, it's about learning new things. But what people don't understand is that the amount of people we're helping, man, so listening to some of these patients, the amount of pain they've gone through, and traditional medicine hasn't been able to help them. And here's something that's so natural, right? That actually helps people with pain. Like people that are going through cancer treatment, they have so much pain they're going through, and by having this, it helps them, And it's just really, really rewarding. When you're selling internet, you're selling a commodity, you're selling electricity. Okay, you're helping businesses, but you're not changing lives.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not as fulfilling.
No, man. But with this, it's just absolutely mind blowing, and I'm learning so much about it and all the benefits, that it brings to people, especially people that are sick, people that have PTSD, all this stuff, man. So I'm really, really enjoying and learning it. So definitely not a money-making business. So if you want to make money, don't do it. But something that I'll keep investing in, and I'm learning a lot about. So I've been doing that. And also, I love property. I've been involved in property for a very, very long time, and I love to continue to do that. But yeah, look, there's nothing other than that at the moment. No plans. See how we go, and things will work out for themselves.
Yeah, and I like how we were talking about earlier with this idea of dirty money or bad money, and your values seem to always stay the same. I'm sure you've had other opportunities in front of you that you've sort of not wanted to pursue because you want to stay true to yourself. Is that right?
What I said was we don't sell our services to casinos, for example, and we. And some people say, "Oh, it's as religious." I'm Muslim, but I went to a Catholic school. I got married in the biggest Catholic church in Melbourne, so I don't really care about that stuff. For me, religion's about treat people how you want to be treated. I think that's quite big. But for me, it's just about values. And I don't want to ever sell to. I'm looking at casino Costa. That's what I'm looking at. I don't want to ever sell to a casino services because that money comes from other people's misery, and maybe people don't align with that, but for me, it's very important that it comes from the money that you're making is not harming somebody else, right? And it's not made out of the smiles of other people. I think it's something that I was always taught as a kid, and something that I'm very big on. So yeah,
that's very interesting. And going back to maybe the entrepreneurial space and stuff, somebody's watching this and they're a younger entrepreneur, maybe they're in the position that you were when you started. What is your advice for them?
Look, I think number one is just you really got to focus on what you're good at. People get distracted very easily, especially with what's going on with, on social media and stuff, and everyone wants to dabble in different things. Every time I'll dabble in something different, I've always lost. Every time I come back and focus on what I'm good at, I've always won. But also, the biggest thing I think is your mental health, right? it's really good to work hard, make money, but you got to make sure your mental health's in a good place. So one of the things that's always helped me in my life is exercise. You know, I always go to the gym, and even at 47, I train every day except the weekends. I don't want to be a bodybuilder, but I want to be fit, and I want to release those endorphins first thing in the morning. So no matter what, find what works for you. Some people love meditating. I can't meditate, you know. I can't concentrate that long as a meditation. But find what's good for you. Don't just focus on making money, kicking goals at a cost of your health, your mental health especially, right? And just focus on yourself. Don't worry about what's going on around the world. Stay in your own lane. Focus on you. Don't worry if X, Y, Z's doing this, doing that. That's their thing. You do your thing, but really, really, focus on your health. Very important.
Interesting. And it's also a different world now versus when you were starting, right, with distractions and everything like that. Like, there's a lot of stuff these days, and as an entrepreneur myself, from experience, like, there's so many different things to pursue now. Yeah. So it's like a little bit different than back then when maybe like, not to say it's harder now, but it's just a different.
Yeah, it is. It's actually funny because you're right. In a way, it is harder, but also in a way,
it's easier.
It's easier too. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I had no Instagram, I had no social media. So I had Yellow Pages. I used to look up Yellow Pages, which is a book. I used to call from that, right? If I wanted to get to a CEO or someone, that's done well, there's no way I could get through to him. Now you can just DM someone. You can go on LinkedIn and send them a message. None of that shit was around. So in terms of business-wise, it's so much easier now to contact people. But also in terms of distractions and stuff, that's the problem. There's a lot of that shit around. Whereas with us, we didn't have that. I think Facebook just started when I started business, and I never got into Facebook for whatever reason. But yeah, look, and even myself, with my social media stuff, it's distracting. I think even I spend probably an hour every day just scrolling. They don't even realize I'm scrolling, So yeah, look, but that's why it's really important to stay in your own lane, do your own thing. Don't worry about everybody else. Yeah. Let them know them. You do you. And sometimes it's best to do things in silence, Not everybody needs to know what you're doing.
Very true. Yeah, move in silence.
Wow.
Yeah, and before we wrap it up, I have to sort of ask you, with the business, you started off, you said like around $1,000. That was a story. Yeah. Now, where is it today? Like in terms of numbers, in terms of maybe
I don't
like
talking numbers, but we're doing quite well. It's lots of millions, but yeah. But look, it's doing really, really well. We're growing every year. We're concentrating on growth overseas, globally now, which is going really well. So yeah, it's way bigger than what it ever was.
Yeah, but you said, I think, in a previous interview that you don't like to pay yourself out that much. Yeah. So what's that philosophy? You want to sort of invest it all back into the business?
Yeah, look, I love investing back into the business, but also, I have a lifestyle now that I would have never dreamed of having, you know what I mean? So for me, it's really important to invest in the business because a business wouldn't be a business without the people, right? Your biggest asset is your team, right? Like we were talking about before, I'm only good at one or two things. You find people that are good at things that you're not good at. And without those people, you ain't gonna have a business. You ain't gonna have nothing. Yeah. And people forget that, right? They treat their staff like they're like a factory worker today. It doesn't work like that. They're your family, and you got to be able to show them growth, show them love, and as a small to medium business, you got to have more hands-on with them, right? They can't just be a number because then they can leave, go anywhere, anytime, right? So for us, it's about investing into the business, investing into the people and growth, and just getting the balance right, I guess.
Interesting. And going back to the cars and stuff, I'm curious. I have to ask you, do you have one of your cars here?
Yeah, I do. I have my Rolls. I picked up a new Rolls Royce Spectre 3 days ago, actually. I had a Rolls Royce Caledon. I just picked up the new one 3 days ago. I love it, man. Like, I always, I've got Ferraris, I've got Lamborghinis, Porsches and all that. Maybe I'm getting old. I love the Rolls Royce more than everything. They're just...
What's your favorite out of...
My Rolls Royce. So my Rolls Royce Caledon was my favorite. Now that I've got the new Spectre, that's my favorite. It's just... it's undescribable, man. It's just 5.67 meters long. It's just and it's full electric. It's the first time Rolls has done a full electric vehicle. I never thought I'd buy an electric vehicle because I'm fucking I don't like it.
It's electric.
Full electric, yeah.
I didn't know they had that.
Yeah, it's the first one that Rolls Royce has ever done from a V12 naturally aspirated, which they're very well known for. It's full electric, so I'm still getting used to plugging into the wall every night. Yeah. I go past a petrol station. I can't pull in and buy some Mars and sneakers anymore because I don't need to pull in. But yeah, look, I love it, man. That's my favorite. In terms of supercars, I love my 812 GTS Ferrari. It's a naturally aspirated V12 Ferrari. And also, I've got the last Aventador, which is called Ultimate, which is one of 250 in the world. In terms of driving, it's a terrible car to drive. It's too big, single clutch, but in terms of beauty and look, it's pretty cool.
I heard a lot of Lamborghinis, like, they're actually not the best at
No, single
all.
clutch. The technology is a bit different, but it's changed now, the new ones. But it's a beautiful car to look at, And growing up, I had all those posters on my walls as a young man. But yeah, in terms of enjoyment, I love the Rolls Royce. I think nothing comes close to it as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, so you have it here.
Yeah, we can have a look.
So I have to ask, can we get a quick tour of it?
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah. It's a bit dirty, but we can have a look at it.
Yeah, why not? Let's go. Let's go get a look at
Do
it.
that.
So this is the car.
Yeah, this is the car.
Can I sit down?
Yeah, of course you can sit down.
Okay, we're in the Rolls Royce now, about to wrap it up. So before we go, each stranger has a question to ask the next stranger. So last stranger out here in Melbourne wanted to know, you had to choose one place to live in, where would it be, and who to be with and why?
Oh wow, that's a good question. I would definitely live Italy. Family, my 3 kids. No, probably somewhere. Yeah, they could. My biggest dream would be so like a little apartment, nothing fancy. With my own clothes, everything's already there. And my biggest dream would be to be able to say, you know what, today, what are we doing today? Let's get to Paris. And I think that's true freedom. They give you the option to just get up and not have to worry about packing the clothes, this, that. Go so.
Yeah, that's awesome. Lastly, what's one question that you could pass off to the next stranger?
Okay, interesting. I haven't thought about it.
What makes you you?
Simple but powerful question. So we'll find out that next question probably in Sydney. And thank you, Sam, for inviting me to your office and being in your car now. It's amazing. And
Well, man, you're cool. I thank you. I got to do that from you. But who the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
It's off from me. The reason why I'm saying that is that you never know who you're going to cross paths with in life. You learn to explore things and give people opportunity to catch up with you and vice versa. And always look for the positive in people and always look for the best in people.
well said. Thank you, bro.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.